apparition is in 1987. He doesn't have the tech that we have now. So he has to send it off to Kodak to be able to figure out what's going on with this. That's where we used to have to send our pictures, just in case you're wondering. Sorry, I kind of call you out.
Back in the old days.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Kodak can only prove that it is coming from the camera that he claims that this picture came from, and that it has not been altered. Yeah. So this apparition is in like the top 100 of best apparitions ever caught, which is why every ghost tour normally stops up there, because it's kind of one of the famed things that we have. Now, the picture's cursed. That's my problem with this whole story. So the problem with the curse is that females that handle this image, even in a digital or say your phone or a tablet's kind of format, you're said to get the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning. So the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. So even if I handed this off, and if it's a pregnant female that's handling it, probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. So yeah, I'm going to show you the picture. Just don't touch the tablet. That's the only request that I have. I have some people like, can you zoom in? I'm like, just don't touch the tablet. So again, I'm that guy. I do this for a living. So a lot of times these tourists, they'll put it up on the tablet and pass it around. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm not going to be the guy where I curse somebody's honeymoon. You get the point? It is one of those pieces. Now, the anniversary of this woman's death date when this picture was taken is June 16th. So I'm going to probably be going live on socials, probably mainly TikTok. If I can get Facebook to tie up into that too, I'll probably do that. But I'm going to be coming down here after the data set from June 15th, because my office is right around the corner, and I'm going to go live June 16th at like 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning for about an hour or so with this camera. The camera that I just handed off to Tim is an infrared camera. It sees things we can't. This is the photograph, just so you know. Your image is right there. You're looking at her back and a baby basket next to her. Do you see how I'm excited about the word babies as well? This thing has 54 IR LEDs in it. There's also, when we get up there, I'll kind of point out, okay, they're moving. Let's roll.
Can they bring a baby?
Oh, yeah. So I haven't felt this, like the word.
What?
The word thing, I haven't felt it vibrate before.
Oh.
But it just vibrated.
Okay.
And it's
Sometimes
just,
it'll do that when you get like that weird red.
It's filtering through a lot of words.
Okay, we're going to see what we got.
It went to she, when you were talking about her.
Okay.
Race, impact, horn, savannah, and object.
Yeah, that's a lot of gobbledygook.
You heard what?
Okay. So your sign that I mentioned is right here. Tim just got it on film for you. But this, a couple of things about like what we're staring at right now. And it's perfect because his camera can see it and we can't. Just so you know, Tim, that the grave we're in speculation here is, do you see where the cross headstone is? It's one past that and to the left.
Okay.
So if we're going to hopefully capture hands on the motion, in this corner. And then, does everybody see the big giant bright light there to the left?
Yeah.
The church put that in on purpose because that thing creates a lot of light. So that way anybody trying to recreate what's going on here gets that light. It's not always public access to this cemetery. So that's why every ghost tour stops here, right around this location. And again, it's in the summertime, this is going to be a battle if I have to continue telling the story. So we're going to just kind of chill here for like 4 or 5 minutes. You guys are going to tell me what you're hearing, what's going on with your devices, and obviously you're filming with your phone, which is fine too. So see if you can get anything. Now, the only other apparition that was caught here was caught on the exact same day, June 16th, but it was in like 2012, 2013, and it's a little too wispy for me to say that it's one thing or the other. So let me see your word list for just a second. We did get a small spike here a few minutes ago. It was actually taken from the back of the cemetery, facing towards the grave itself. So we were actually closer to Sue's grave when we were in Philadelphia House. So that's why when they got the word baby on both of their spirit boxes, I think that makes sense because we're closer over here than we would be from seeing it from the other side.
We have a lot of
I just wanted to look at it as a whole. So I like to explain while we're over here too, since I've been having to tell the story and we want to get some good footage, of what we're going to be doing over the next 2 stops. The next 2 stops spread out like what we did at the Stinky Mansion, while also getting things from Dr. Lab. So hopefully with us telling the Sue Howard Hardy story, we'll get things from Dr. Lab as well. But the next stop, we're actually going to be going over a murder mystery. The murder mystery, what we're going to be doing with that experiment is I'm going to probably take Shauna and I'm going to give her a set of headphones with this crazy voice recorder that I have. The crazy voice recorder can actually hear like a frog fart from a mile away. Okay, so what you're going to be listening for isn't going to be radio chatter, but actual disembodied voices. So you're going to sit there silently, and unless you hear something, it's kind of like a quick raise of the hand, because when you hear yourself talk to that thing, it's super loud. Like, it's intense.
All right.
So you'll see when we get out there.
Okay.
But again, if you hear something that's not coming from us, then we might actually have a disembodied voice with a true answer of things that we're coming up with. Now, the rest of you are going to come up with questions of how we get this one to talk to us through the device. So that's the whole exercise. It's not long because it's a mystery. I don't have all the details. I'll tell you what I know about this murder mystery because it only happened 90 years ago, and then it's never been solved. And then I'll tell you what I caught with that device that I'm going to be handing off. The last stop, we're going to be doing the Estes method. So is anybody not familiar with this? You guys do watch the TV shows.
What's it called?
The Estes method?
Maybe once
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's how this is going to go. It's where I'm going to take Reese and she's going to be listening for a spirit box with a blindfold on. She's not going to know the history of this location. Okay? So I'm going to be talking to her as if she's the ghost. But we're going to put Judy on the secondary part of this. So you will, because once we get into that part, like we're not going to be using, actually once we get to the next location where we're going to put you in that crazy voice recorder, you'll give me that and I'll pack it away. We're done with it for the night. Because then you're going to take Mom's devices and I'm going to put Mom underneath a virtual reality headset. And she is going to see images created by artificial intelligence made out of EMF readings. Now, what's going to happen here is the two of you are going to sit on a bench. Granted, Dad's okay with you sitting on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm going to take the other two of you and I'm going to teach you the history. So that way when we come back to these two, we can watch this unfold as I'm trying to ask our ghost the questions. Now, what me and Reese will be doing is about a 33% chance it'll actually work. Just giving you the true stats. Now, the images that you're going to see, it's about a 45% chance that what you see will be accurate. So about half of the images that come up, which is about an average of 4, sometimes we get 1, sometimes we get 12, average of 4. Again, half of those will be relevant to the conversation that I'm having through Reese, and she won't be able to hear me speak at all. This way you guys don't know what the history is, you don't know what you're listening for. I won't be influencing you by telling you the story ahead of time. Does that make sense? Super fun. I will also not tell you the story tonight. You'll have to wait for the recording from the camera that obviously Tim will be taking of this whole damn thing. Obviously we're going to have the audio recording from that as well. And again, I'll encourage, obviously if you wanted to take pictures, you know, and those kind of things too, if you wanted to, again, it's your night. I do this every day. When you guys are on vacation, have a blast. This can either turn out super silly or it's going to turn out super great. So super silly would be that Reese is just giving me a bunch of silly answers that don't mean anything, and you get the point. Otherwise, it's going to be super great because it's going to look like I'm talking to the ghost that I'm going to be telling you two about. So this can be a lot of fun either way. And again, this is kind of the grand finale that I came up with because no other tour in America is doing this shit. I'm like, hell yeah, we're going
Do you
after
have to have good eyesight to look in the virtual reality thing?
Well, the cool thing about what you're doing is the rest of us are going to be able to see those images that you saw.
Okay.
And it's also going to go on your report. I also take those images and I run them through Google Lens. So if I miss something, where this gun is from, you know what I mean? Google Lens will tell me what era it's from. So when she's telling me, like I'm asking questions and she's telling me whatever she's hearing, you're going to be describing the pictures you see in real time. Like, oh, I see a tree that's standing next to a tree with or a wall with ivy. Like, you're going to be describing things, and then we're going to come back and take a look at them. So again, lots of fun.
Sounds good. What a beautiful church.
Yeah.
I've always wondered about all these devices that I see on TV, so this is really
So when I do, because I have a couple of series that I run on TikTok, I love to give stats, and I think that's why I have the amount of followers that I do, and it's growing ridiculous. But it's because I'm like, oh, this is about 45% accurate. This is about 20% accurate. You know, tell me about this.
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's always complicated because I measure everything. Also, just so you know, I also rate your investigation. So I do have a scoring system. So the scoring system will actually tell you guys, like at the end of the night, like how haunted this was. Like right now, we're running about average. So I mean, I'm honest with you, and that's just based off of what I'm seeing in real time. Doesn't include my spot check. But I did make it available for other paranormal teams to be able to use my scoring system during their investigations. So there's no such thing as the most haunted anything in my book because they've never used my investigation workbook before. So as a publisher and writer, that's what I do. I'm on my second edition. I just published this year's edition in January. And then next year I'm putting together the first ever paranormal almanac based off of moon phases, K-index, and weather types. So that way ghost hunters know, like, based off of those three major things, because I keep track of all of that shit during bids. Like, nobody ghost hunts more than I do. Like, again, I do this at least 200 times a year, minimum. So the almanac, I have a team of writers.
Guideline.
My team of writers is actually putting together a bunch of articles for us. Have you seen anything weird in there?
No, not yet.
Um,
I mean bugs, but
yeah.
yeah.
But the team of writers is writing some really cool articles and keeping it real. The people I trust, I can pick them. That way I could stay focused on the death. Because again, I put everything in charts and then explain it. So it's easily be able to go through. And again, you guys thought you signed up with just some rando weekend. Hey, there's a tour guide. Like, no, this is all I do. I'm using all the data you guys are collecting to be able to verify what's going on out there. And I'm not doing the work. You are.
This is the coolest. I'm loving this. This is really cool.
Yeah, you've been having a shit-eating grin on your face all
Yeah.
night long.
I'm loving this. This is so much fun.
All right.
Did you do any of this when you were back north?
So I was writing fiction about stuff like this, just like based off of afterlife, mythology and that kind of thing. But I wasn't doing investigations until I moved to South Carolina.
Okay.
And I didn't have all the gear when I first started. I was just working with a psychic. I was going to write a book about him.
Okay.
That's actually how my podcast got started, because that book got an axe put to it because nobody would let us in any other places when I said the word psychic. So my new wife down here found all of those chapters of all of the evidence, and she's like, just turn this into a podcast and blog and see what happens. It took off, and then somebody found my podcast and brought me into tourism. And I walked away from 6 figures to use my degrees of storytelling and research.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
I know, that's my brief life story right there.
No, I just wondered because, like, for us, so we have near us we have the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, which I still call it the old West. It used to be the Western State Hospital, but so I've not been there yet. That's on my bucket list. And then during the when I was in the military, I was in the reserves. We would go to the Moundsville State Penitentiary for weekends, and then as long as they didn't have tours at night, we had free range of the entire prison.
Nice.
So we would, do our goofy little things, but never had the equipment. Some of the people I work with, they eat this up too. So
Let's go ahead and hit your stop button.
I don't know where to stop it.
Stop
Okay.
right. The reason why I brought those up is because I'm getting you as close as where this murder actually occurred based on where I'm allowed to take you. 2 more blocks if we were to go further. A woman fell to the ground on November 1st of 1933. So she fell to the ground and starts screaming in pain that a man hit her and that she knows she's going to die. That's all she's saying over and over and over again. It's 1933. Everybody's a gentleman back then. Somebody driving by, seeing a woman on the ground, and stopped to help her. He can't figure out what's wrong with her. So he basically helps her into his car and takes her down to the hospital, trying to figure out what's going on. And that was St. Roper's back then, but it's where MUSC sits now. So we're talking a couple of miles away. So she gets down there and she has a doctor. I will kind of take a few vocal notes when there are people walking around us, just so you have an idea. And it's mainly because I do listen to that thing from start to finish. So right now we do have a group of people walking by us, obviously, so we're going to have those voices in the background. So the doctor she has down there, his name is Dr. James Avery Finger. Very silly name, but we've had all 3 parts of his name show up on different types of spirit boxes. So some of it's just whistling, so you know. It's not the whistling doctor showing up over here yet. But yeah, I definitely heard them whistling. But Dr. James Avery Finger, he can't figure out what's going on with her either, so he basically sends her over to autopsy because she died on his table, and he needs the coroner to try to figure out what's going on. So the coroner finds a scrape underneath her arm, and then basically a bullet hole inside of her ribcage. Yeah, she died of that bullet hole. It was a 38. They found the 38 bullet going all the way through her, and that's what killed her. Now, the woman that died, her name is Mary Ravenel. If you came over here from Mount Pleasant, you came over the Ravenel Bridge. You watch a little TV show called, what is it, Southern Charmed? Is that what the name of that show is?
Yeah.
It was the Ravenel family on there. They are a real family. They're still alive and kicking. But here's what we know about this whole scenario. Mary died by that bullet wound, obviously, and when somebody picked her up, when she was on the ground, the shooter got away. There's no gunpowder residue on the body. all of her jewelry and cash are still intact. She was not robbed. What would you ask this woman to try to get her to come and talk to us, to try to give us some of these answers? While you're trying to think of questions with the, obviously, brain burning thick of trying to figure this out, I'll tell you what we've caught so far. In the background on a very quiet night, this isn't too bad. I normally don't do this on the weekends, but I kind of had to with the whole changing up the Anne Bonnie to Sue Howard Hardy story. But it gets really crazy down here on Fridays and Saturdays. So kudos to you guys for coming in on Monday. But quieter nights, we've actually had help in the background. They heard it in real time. They raised their hand and said, I just heard a woman's voice. I had somebody go check that way. I went down a little bit further, nobody around. A few weeks later, same voice. Help me, I have fallen. Same exact voice. Another reason why I bring us here. Mary is buried behind St. Michael's Church. She is right over there. I'm hoping we're kind of in a triangular effect of this whole scenario. So again, raised emotion, she's shot, she's buried. She's a prominent woman of the city. She actually hosted Robert Frost when he was here to discuss his poetry. This woman's like president of the country club, she's 64 years old, and she's a widow. So, now that you have all of those details, what would you ask? Doctor, I like it so far.
Does she know who shot her?
Okay. And that would be an okay yes-no question because it's a direct voice. See where it might be a problem if we were trying to get that answer out of a regular spirit box? This one at least would be hopefully her voice saying, yes, I know who it was. We would get a full explanation out of it. What else do we know? And you can ask questions too. Probably haven't figured out like what your voice sounds like on there just yet.
It's loud.
Yeah. And you guys will get that full recording back, obviously.
What's his name? Why?
Okay.
What's their name? Why?
Got it? So there's a lot of like
Unanswered.
theories about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Some relatives have said because she was married into money and now a widow, basically hanging on to her husband's money from the Ravenel family, that she actually accidentally shot herself. She had her own 38 and tripped and fell. The 38 went off in her bag and then killed her.
There's a group running this way.
Fridays and Saturdays down here, it's crazy. Like, this is actually really, really minor, just so you know. But yeah, motive is good, but somebody else also said that somebody was shooting at stray cats. I'm like, with a 38? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Especially look where we are.
Yeah.
Right? They're not going to be shooting 38 at cats over here. But
Was it her own gun?
yeah, I like it. Heard anything besides this crazy dude stalking behind us? I was worried about, there's an alarm going off in the construction over there. I was worried about that. Can you hear that in there?
No.
Good.
I think it stopped.
No, I still
No,
hear
it's still here, yeah.
Oh, now that I'm focused on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's faint over here. It was pretty loud as we were walking.
It sounded like a fire alarm.
So,
Yeah.
Can we go over there in Lavinia and maybe you guys could hear something? I kind of want to make the ghost mad.
no, we're not doing that.
Okay. Alright.
The church is going. Bells are going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not, just you going crazy in there.
Sick.
It's just toxic.
I heard no one stand, like when he first started talking about
Okay.
You heard what?
no one stand.
So, say after the church bells go off, if anybody else wants to give that thing a whirl. Again, when you guys are telling me, like, what those questions are, you're not asking me, you're asking Mary. You don't need to, like, is anybody here that wants to talk to us, like they do on the TV shows where they have to shout it. She's listening. If she's here, she's listening. We can just talk amongst each other. She's hearing it. And if she wants to answer, hopefully she gives us the damn answer. Like, that's the whole point. But yeah, I don't know what the hell those shots were. No, but I don't know where they came from. Like, they're, like, schools. They're a bunch of schools. But again, like, no other tour is talking about this scenario because there's not enough guts for them to really dive into it. So, again, no tour's going to come here and say, hey, somebody died 90 years ago. Here we go, moving on. You know what I mean? Because that's all the details they have. Alright, anybody else want to give that thing a whirl? See what that thing actually sounds like in there? When we take it off is when the, like, shock factor. Just so you know, we're going to see how loud it actually is.
Don't put it near the bus.
Anybody else want to try it?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, they're running again.
They're at least my age, so there's
a lot going on.
there's no way they got old alcohol unless they went to a bar.
Oh, that's not true.
Tried.
Okay, maybe the one with the.
God, no.
2 words.
That's funny.
Toxic.
Are you a comedian?
This is I mean, she was 64 years old. I can't imagine, and very like proud woman. So I can't imagine like she'd be cracking jokes like these guys are effing tools over here.
Right?
Like,
Could this be John hanging with us?
it might be Dr. Ladd.
Oh.
That's
We did get doctor.
yeah, and I did hear a whistle, so I don't know. Again, I thought it came from the group. I could have actually heard the disembodied as I was behind.
Yeah.
I just assumed that it was the group behind me because it's the easy answer.
Yeah.
We're actually near his house. 59 Church Street is right around the corner. So that's why he likes to kind of interfere with our last stop. Which we're on our way there in a minute. So at this point, I would say, Judy, go ahead and hand things off to Shauna because you're going to be doing something completely different where you're not even
I
going to
knew
be
I
able
was
to see
going
that
to cry.
stuff. She's giving up her shit, that's why. We are going to blindfold some people to see how this goes. Yeah, go ahead and hit that stop. Easy. By the way, we have had triple digits in here, so just kind of keep an eye on it. And if I'm not getting the answers out of Reese, hopefully they're going to come to your device. So you're going to, if you have a word, just say the word individually because she's not going to be able to hear you. She's going to continue talking. Obviously, you're going to keep your camera on them the entire time.
Wait,
Okay.
4?
Okay.
It was been 0.
Okay. I'm going to kind of like monitor that and kind of see where we're at, but we're right on the right track. We don't always get things in here, but when we do, like, it's super extreme.
Okay.
So, like 60, 70, 80, like,
Wow.
like growing quickly.
Alright.
The first time I came in here, this was the new space for last year. I only had 2 people because it was November. That's when I started testing new spaces, and I knew a lot of ghost tourists start here. I didn't even know who the hell we were looking for. I told the young lady with the spirit box, just tell me whatever you hear, and we'll see if we can, stick something to the wall. She hears the year 1828 and the name Henry. I'm using the word list, and the name Tim shows up. Behind me is a bust of Henry Timrod. He was born in 1828. Like, can't make this shit up. So. No. No. The toxic tools will come back to get you.
They want to make the ghosts mad.
Yeah. So anyway, so Henry Timrod is, and the other tours that come through here, like they're talking about Lavinia Fisher and Beauregard, like nobody's even bringing this guy up. So this is actually perfect. Here's how this goes. Very quick story. Being born in that year, he can go fight in the Civil War. So, but he's sick and he's a writer. So he goes out to the battlefield to fight for the Confederate side, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, back here to Charleston, to go be the voice of the war. So he started writing poetry about what was going on in the battlefield. He became known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. So it's a pretty big title in the writing world in case you're not familiar with that. But anyway, moving on. He starts writing all this poetry, and he's doing really well, and he has a son. The son's name is Willie. He's born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later. One last dead child. What do you got?
Anniversary Prey. Prey. Right. Fat.
I want more. I want to see what's going to come out of that next. So, the son being passed away at a very young age, him and his wife Katie are mourning, and he's not writing as much. He has another writer friend from college that offers him his cottage in Columbia. He says, go get back on track, leave your wife Katie behind because her parents are here visiting. She can mourn with them. He goes out to that cottage, and that's where he wrote his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which translates to modern English of dear person with a short life. And then he coughed, and it landed on the page in a bloodstain. He had tuberculosis. He died right there, age 38, leaving that bloodstain behind, pen in hand. Perfect way for a writer to go. But wait, there's more. The bloodstain is the reason why we're here. We call it the Blood Book because it looks like a man writing at his desk. They show it one day a year at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member to go see it, and they only show it on Halloween. That's it.
Wow.
It's the only day that they bring that book out because that's where his entire collection is being held. However, the internet's beautiful. I'm going to show you what the Blood Book looks like, and then we're going to go talk to Reese as if she's Henry Timrod. And then hopefully Mom is going to be getting a bunch of images that are going to be relevant to our Blood Book. I love how they're just cracking up over there.
They're killing a
They're
bug.
chasing something, yeah.
They killed a bug, I think. Not a ghost.
Right? Here is your blood book.
Oh, wow.
Folder, brief mortality, cough, cough, death. There is your full-blown blood
Yes.
stain.
Wow.
Yeah. Now,
That is
this guy is
crazy.
pretty timid about coming out. He's not always happy about me being here. I'm just going to point that out. So if I start picking up clues on Dr. Ladd, I'll kind of ask a few questions. You guys monitor your devices, obviously. I'm going to give them a few cues. So, Dad, in your case, because Reese is going to be blindfolded and with headphones on, she's not going to be able to hear me. If she's too loud, I'm going to have you tap her on the shoulder.
Okay.
She'll know to quiet down a little bit. We do have neighbors. When we're done, you're going to tap her on the leg. So that way she knows to take off her own gear. I just don't touch the people on the bench.
Right.
I mean, you get my point.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys respect the fact that I'm respecting your people.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
But again, sometimes I'll do like 3 blind mice, because if I have my larger groups, I try to pick one person from every party if I can to be able to sit on the bench. So I'll actually blindfold 2 people and then 1 virtual reality person. So it gets very interesting when 2 people are trying to talk to you and there's a person trying to come up with images. So I'll be honest that this whole experiment is all meant for 1 person. I just separated it because it can be too much, like for 1 person to handle the visual effect and the sound effect. So again, when we split it, when my daughter and I experimented with this, she's like, Dad, it's too much. You gotta split this up. Your people, the muggles, are not gonna be able to handle this kind of mess. So we split it, and it actually makes it more fun because now I can involve more people.
Right.
So it actually works out really well. All right, let's go talk to a ghost. Let's do it.
Is this how it works?
Nope.
Oh.
Just don't let that roach come over towards us. I chased it away.
That's not a roach, it's a palmetto bug.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, we called you a roach.
It's the same difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except they fly.
Yeah.
Great.
I went to coastal Carolina.
Okay.
In Myrtle Beach, Conway area, and oh my God, we'd have them in the apartment all the time.
Oh,
I'd be
yes.
trying to kill them. They are hard to kill.
That was the first time I ever heard the differentiation between a roach and a palmetto bug was in Myrtle Beach.
They look
So-
the same, except they fly
You're
at
gonna
you.
see a galaxy off
Scare
in
the
distance.
daylights out of me.
Every once in a while, you're going to have an image that shows up in front of that galaxy. You're going to explain what that picture is in very simple terms, because Reese is going to be headphoned and not being able to hear what's going on. You're going to say, 2 ladies bench tree. In the event she's not saying much, I will ask you probing questions with your name being first. I'll say, okay, Judy, what was that looking at? What era are they from? What are they wearing? What race are they? That kind of thing. I'll just ask probing questions based on what's going on between me and her. You're going to be able to hear us. With yours, a couple of things. In the event that you're talking too loud, Dad's going to tap you on the shoulder. Quiet down. I got neighbors. I try not to piss them off. When we're done, he's going to tap you on the leg. That means you take off your own gear. I'm never going to touch you. It's always going to be Dad, just so you know. I'm going to be asking questions, and it's okay to tell me yes, no answers in the event that you hear them, because you don't know what I'm asking. That's where it's another scenario where it's okay, because hopefully it's going to look like a conversation. Obviously, we're going to have a full footage from this. We're going to stay in like nice and tight, just in case other tours or other weirdo toxic tools like to come through. Again, I don't always like people to see like what the hell Nick is up to now, kind of thing. So we'll stay in nice and tight. When you get underneath there, turn that volume up nice and loud to where you can't hear me. I'll ask a few silly questions to verify it, and then I only keep you guys under for 10 minutes. That's it. So let me see the front of your little doodad. I got to set up the phone for you. So for you, it is blindfold first. Your glasses are obviously not going to. You can try it over your glasses if you want. Not really hard. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Don't worry, your headphones will hold it on.
Oh, my hair is like
Oh,
everything.
I got you. Remember, you might not get any images. You might get 12. I have no idea. That's the beauty of this. Turn the volume up. Reese, can you still hear me? What color is a blue banana? Okay, she's under.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you now.
Okay, perfect. Good.
Can you hear me?
Reese?
Yeah. I was going to say, normally she tones me out anyway, so, you know.
Reese.
In the event that it's blurry in here,
Yeah.
we're going to turn this dial so you can sleep on it.
Okay.
You'll be able to feel it. It's nice and big. Okay, slide that over your head. See what we can get.
I heard jump.
Henry, if you're here, we
Morning.
want to know more about your occupation. I start this off nice and simple. you want to tell us about your job, let's just verify that you're here first. Dr. Ladd, if you want to use your code word.
3 men, portraits.
3 men?
Mm-hmm. The middle one is now faceless.
Okay, what time era?
Has to be early 1900s.
Ally powers.
I got movie.
Okay. Henry, I don't know who the men are in the picture, so if somebody else here came with you, just let me know.
2.9.
Dr. Ladd, if you are here, please provide your code word so I know that it is you. Just so you two know, that code word is purple. So if she says purple, it's not a common thing you would hear. So we had a 2.4 and a 2. What was the other one?
9. 2.9.
Henry, verify that you're here, please. Dr. Ladd, use your code word. We're using both boxes tonight, so if you want to provide images, get close to the blue box. That's Judy. It's on her face. It'll just kind of pick up on who you are and let us know what's going on there. Kind of weird in there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Learn.
Learn. Yeah, this is exactly how we learn about you. This is Reese. She can hear whatever you want us to hear. We just heard some sounds out of the church. If you want to tell us what those sounds are, that would verify that we have somebody here as well, just not verifying who it is. You guys hear a hissing sound?
I do behind it.
One woman.
One woman.
Sand, no camera.
I heard ally again.
The hiss I thought was maybe like a sprinkler or something.
Maybe.
Something.
Just weird. Henry, there were some gentlemen in here earlier, I'm sure, that were looking to make some spirits mad. We kind of scared them off, out of respect. Can you tell us how many gentlemen there were? How many gentlemen were there? I do like the one woman piece, as long as we start getting more about Mary. Because this is actually how I learned about the Mary
I
Ravenel
heard
story.
Journey.
I had an image one night that we didn't know what it was. It was a woman laying on the ground, and then when I found the Mary Ravenel story, I put a picture of Mary Ravenel next to the picture we had, twins.
Oh wow.
Like craziness. I'm like, I have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Henry,
Gold.
what sound did we get out of the church? Can you tell us what that was? We're using the word box too, so if you want to give us the word over there, we'll take it. Henry. Let's move over to images. We're not getting much communications.
9.
Is that how old your son was? Was he 9 months old? You can give us images that might speak a little bit louder than some of the communication. You want to give us images of your son? You want to give us images of your work? We all know what it looks like. We've seen the images.
Girl.
That way we can identify it. Judy, am I going to have to fire you? You getting anything?
No.
Aqua?
What was it?
Aqua?
Doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I just felt a raindrop. Right here on my left arm, right at the elbow.
Mammy.
Or a drop.
Mammy.
Oh, that's an old word.
Henry, we're running out of time. What time is it? 11:12? Did I say the time? When we
No,
started?
these don't say
No.
the time.
No, I'm asking if I said the time. I
don't
normally
think
say,
so.
like, okay, it's 11:12.
Oh. A skeleton, partial skeleton.
Maybe partial.
It's only down to the thigh bone. And it looks like it's in a
Hide?
barren location. Like it's something you would see at Halloween.
Okay. Is there a knee down or?
They actually might be on their knees.
Just trying to picture it. We all know that Dr. Ladd got shot in the knee.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, okay.
Yeah, he was like, the skeleton was on his knees, the legs were behind him, and he had his hands.
Smith.
Who the hell is Smith? Henry, did Mary come with you tonight? Do we have things relative to Mary or our friend Dr. Ladd? Did either one of those two people come with you here tonight?
Just got fatal.
One.
Which one? The male or the female? Oh, you have a timer. Oh, your camera. We started it over there.
Yeah. I'm at 6 minutes.
It resets every 10 because the
Okay.
files are so big.
Okay.
So we can use that 6 minutes as kind of a barometer. That sounds about right. So about 4 more minutes.
Is Bunny a person? But name?
Not to my knowledge, but it doesn't mean that it's not a Ravenel. It's not relevant to the Henry or Dr. Ladd story. I mean, I've studied the hell out of their stories.
319.
I don't have a date with March 19th. It's too big of a stretch
Found.
to go 1933 because that was Mary Ravenel's death
Mhm.
date.
Could 319 be an address?
Could be. I like it. I just don't know what it is. I usually look at numbers in relativity to date. That's usually my first go-to because it's normally where you can find the tie, especially if we're close to an anniversary date of something. Mary, can you tell us what happened to you? We have the word fatal.
We also have fragment.
Fragment of a skeleton.
Bullet fragment?
Okay, it looks like it might be a photograph,
Okay.
and it's, I can't tell who these men are. If they're prisoners, or if they're looks like the buildings down, some of the more modern, like plainer looking buildings down here.
Okay.
There's a group of 4 men on the left, 3 on the right, and it looked like a bunch of people wearing white in the background.
Sounds like a cult to me.
Yeah, but the clothing was very plain.
I should have noticed how quiet she was
Mhm.
during that description.
They were wearing like strange hats, like
Definitely cult folk.
caps.
Okay. I want to see
Well,
it when
my
we get done.
my first thought is that they were some kind of prisoners or some kind of old ship uniform.
Okay. Oh. Henry, we're running out of time. I've asked you several questions, to which you didn't answer any of them. So Miss Mary or Dr. Ladd, we're going to give you another minute or two if you wanted to come through. In the word box, we're using the visionary box, so it gives us images. And Reese can just hear whatever you want us to hear. You could tell us goodnight. That would pretty much tell us to wrap things up, respectfully. Oh, she's really struggling in there. I thought she was going to do pretty well. It's not an easy job to listen to that at all, for especially a long period of time.
32.
Close but no cigar. It was 38.
Yeah. And she was 1933, right?
Yep.
So
Dr. Ladd was 22 when he died.
Find them.
Find them. I know, we're trying to piece together whatever's coming out of her mouth, so you gotta help us out. Give us something definitive so we know who was here, or else we're gonna wrap it up.
Just so you're aware, it flipped over to a new file where one
Oh,
went
yeah.
in.
I
So-
splice them all together.
Okay,
Makes
yeah,
one
I
video.
just wanted to let you know, since we were using that as a guide.
Yeah, I have software that I plug everything into, and it just brings me all the files, and I just hit join them, and it compresses them down. She got no answer there. You want to give us one more image? We'll wrap this up. Come on. Whoever's here, let us identify you through an image. We got the toxic tools coming back.
Freedom.
Henry, Mary, Dr. Ladd going once, going twice. Alright, Dad, let's get her tapped out. Judy, go ahead and peel that off your face. Hand it
Okay.
over to me so we can see these images.
Okay.
Kind of see what we got going on here. So neither one of you get up. Don't be baby giraffes and falling down on the ground. Dad, you can definitely stop your camera.